Welcome back to our channel, and thank you for tuning in and thank you for supporting us. But if you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please encourage us by doing so, and we shall bring you the latest news as they happen. And together we can support our leader ﷺ Kanu Eastern Security Network to make our Biafran dream a reality, he said. The Fulani Chief Imam of Akpo Legislative Quarters, Abuja, is under serious attack from fellow Fulani Janjaweed, including the Fulani Presidency Cabal and Fulani terrorist jihadist leaders and clerics, because the Fulani Chief Imam supported Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's message and that what Nigerians need is referendum and not elections due to the rise in reckless and senseless killings by the Fulani Nigerian government and their terrorist foot soldiers, who are also killing some other Fulanis. And that is why the Imam raised alarm, not because he loves Biafra, it's because his own people are being killed by the terrorists, Fulani Janjaweed, who after taking hard drugs, they could hardly know who is Fulani and who is not Fulani. And that is happening. Imagine that. But they have been keeping silent since the Fulani Nigerian government are using their compromised Nigerian army and police committing genocide in Biafra land. But the Fulani terrorist jihadist cleric 噚İ낳, who have been silent all this while, tackled the suspended Abuja Muslim cleric Imam Khalid and said the sermon was worse than kidnapping. Imagine that. This can only happen in a lawless nation like Nigeria. Fulani terrorist bandit cleric Sheikh Ahmed Abubakar Gumi has backed the suspension of the chief imam of Akpo Legislative Quarters Mosque, Abuja, Sheikh Nuru Khalid, over a sermon the mosque committee deems inciting because the chief imam told the Fulani Nigerian government the truth, told them the truth, and warned that no election until government guarantees safety of lives and properties. In the contentious sermon he delivered on Friday, Khalid has criticized the Buhari impostor and the Fulani Nigerian government over the recent bombing of Kaduna-born train and killing of Nigerians by the Fulani terrorist bandits in the northern region. He further flamed the Fulani Nigerian government over its failure to tame the escalating insecurity and killings in the country, saying the Fulani presidency and Buhari impostor and their security agencies have not been up to their responsibility of protecting Nigerians. You know, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was warning them that the Fulani Nigerian government are not interested in the security of Nigerians, but they never listened. Now, they are saying the repercussion of not listening and being stubborn. The Fulani cleric also urges followers and indeed Nigerians to also show apathy in the forthcoming 2023 general election. That is, if Nigeria still exists. If the government fails to fix the security problems and other challenges bedeviling Nigeria. On Saturday, the steering committee of the mosque, led by Senator Sayud Mohammed Dansadu, a Fulani terrorist jihadist leader, is a bandit leader, suspended the Imam, due to pressure from the Fulani Nigerian presidency, on the premise that his sermon was inciting public outrage, instead of the Fulani Nigerian government to apprehend, arrest the Fulani terrorist bandits, they are arresting or they are castigating and suspending the one that is telling them the truth. This is why Biafra must be restored. This is why. If there is no other reason, this singular reason is the reason why Biafra must be restored. Just as the suspension of Imam Khalid has continued to draw condemnation from many Nigerians, the stupid, foolish, terrorist jihadist cleric 噚'Gumi, however, thinks otherwise, as he has condemned the sermon, saying it was riddled with sentiment overriding intellect, because he will receive some of the ransom that will be paid by the families of those who were kidnapped by the Fulani terrorists. And that is why he thinks otherwise. That is why. Gumi said what Imam Khalid did was worse than few kidnapping. Imagine saying it's few kidnapping. Imagine that. Supposing this was done by Biafrans, the whole of Biafran land, the whole southeastern state, would have been on an emergency rule. Buhari impostor would have declared emergency rule. And here is Gumi saying few kidnappings. Imagine if it is one Christian leader or Biafran leader that is saying few kidnappings. By now, the criminal DSS would have invited him or even arrested him and disgraced him. You know? But they will not do that to 噚'Gumi because he's part of the Fulani Nigerian government. They are all terrorists. According to Gumi, Imam Khalid was wrong for trying to encourage Nigerians from participating in the election to vote out bad leaders. Who are the bad leaders? Is it not the Fulani terrorists? Disguising as politicians. The truth is that Nigeria does not need election. That's the simple truth. And that is the honest truth. But referendum and disintegration is the only way out. That's the only way out. The Fulani Nigerian government lacks the political will to protect Nigerians, or at least does not demonstrate it enough. And this has added to the problem by itself because the Fulani bandit terrorist group have sensed a lack of political will to engage them. They now roam freely in broad daylight across several states, sometimes for hundreds of kilometers on hordes of motorcycles that is not invisible. In daring and chain-stomping show of power against the Fulani Nigerian government and the Nigerian military forces who are compromised. The Fulani Nigerian government also scarcely has any proactive strategy for engaging the Fulani terrorist bandits head-on with boots on the ground. Everyone knows where the Fulani terrorist bandits are located in the north. They all know that. The security agencies know. At least in the main, and the security agencies even know some of their plans. That's the lawlessness. That is the wickedness in that zoo called Nigeria. Reports from independent sources indicate little presence of the Nigerian fighting force on ground in the affected states because they have shipped all their military to Biafra land to terrorize Biafrans. And that is why they don't have fighting force on ground. Even the few they have warned them not to engage the Fulani terrorists, leaving the governors with only the dangerous choice of calling citizens to arm. Even when attacks do occur, the Fulani Nigerian government's attitude leaves much to be desired. If the Fulani presidency bothers at all, the only response is usually to issue directives to heads of security agencies to bring culprits to book. But the next day or the next week, there will be yet more attacks, even deadlier than the last one. There are more directives from the Fulani presidency and meetings with service chief in a merry-go-round that, were it not so tragic, amounts to playing second fiddle with the lives of ordinary Nigerians killed again and again in those attacks. We are convinced and concerned that the Fulani Nigerian government's approach to these security appointees also demonstrate a lack of political will to deal with the Fulani terrorists. Notably, the presidency has been very reluctant to fire any appointee, even as the number of dead Nigerians continue to pile up weekly, as if loyalty to appointees matters more for the Buhari impostor than the loyalty to the voters. Thank you, my brothers and my sisters, for watching this video, and bye-bye for now.